I want to hear, I've been dying to ask you this question. What's fiscal space?
So fiscal space is the ability of countries to spend more or cut taxes while not endangering their ability to access bond markets for financing or long-term debt sustainability. That's fiscal space.
It is cultural, though. It is a behavioral economics as well. Everyone, Christine Lagarde of the European Central Bank, Kristalina Georgieva of your International Monetary Fund, they have to deal with culture, don't they?
It's a lot about expectations. It's a lot about behavior, exactly as you say. These things do have cycles, and one of the things that we very much emphasize is that low interest rates should not be a sufficient ground for complacency, because we have seen in the past episodes of low interest rates being followed by over-borrowing and then panic and disruption.
We've seen that. I believe there was a book, this time it's different, Rogoff and Reinhardt from a few years ago, with a lot of European models buried within their hundreds and hundreds of years of study. On negative interest rates as the barometer of our fiscal realities, has that been a successful experiment?
So very low interest rates, zero or negative interest rates in advanced economies have led to a situation where increasing levels of debt levels which are much above what they were at the beginning of the global financial crisis, have been at the same time accompanying by a declining interest rate bill. So in many countries, in many advanced economies, there is additional fiscal space. In some of these economies, there's a lot of fiscal space. And we say, for countries that have fiscal space, it's now time to use it.
Vitor Gaspar, how concerned are you about public debt levels? I think you warned them at the last IMF meeting. Have they gotten worse?
So we have this situation in advanced economies where you do have very high levels of debt accompanied by declining interest expenditures. But in most economies around the world, that's not the situation. In most economies around the world, what we see is increasing levels of debt, which are accompanied by increasing interest expenditures, and in particular, an increase in the interest payments as a percentage of tax. And in those circumstances, the general approach is to be cautious, to avoid complacency, to fight high levels of debt, and put all of that in a medium-term framework. For low-income developing countries, it's crucial to reconcile the constraints of sustainable public finance with the imperatives from the Sustainable Development Goals.
But Vitor, overall, what's the concern over borrowing to actually fund countercyclical spending at this time?
So it's exactly as I said before, it's crucial to have a robust public finance framework in most countries. It's important to have a medium-term framework backed by solid institutions, and that's important for fiscal policy to be able to fulfill its role, both from a business cycle viewpoint, but also from the viewpoint of growth and development.
Do you care about how the debt and deficit is spent? The theme is infrastructure and spending, and in Germany there's a theme of it has to have a green angle as well. Does the IMF care about infrastructure, or do you just need to see a debt buildup, whether it goes directly into consumption or social programs or into tangible things that hurt your foot?
What you're talking about matters a whole lot. Germany is, to my mind, a wonderful example. Germany is able to get financing at negative interest rates. In Germany, there are many opportunities for public investment in infrastructure, say green infrastructure, say digital infrastructure, and that allows an economy like Germany at this point in time to have a double benefit. Expansion of aggregate demand and support of economic activity to counter the current slowdown, while at the same time improving the competitiveness and the
Right.
growth potential from a long-term perspective.
I've got to ask one final question. It's a delicate question with all of the challenges of the IMF assistance to a political mess that is Argentina as well. Give us an update on the fiscal structure of Argentina as they face their political challenges.
At this point in time, Argentina is at a juncture. It's very important for the IMF to be constructively engaged with Argentina and to pave a way that will allow Argentina to be stable and sustainable from a medium-term perspective.